Shenamidvav, Seif Yud Beis. Ka'enim sheyavshu bi'iveihen. If you have dates, figs sheyavshu bi'iveihen, figs that they get dried out, or when they're attached to the tree. Ilon sheyavshu peiroisavoy, a tree that the peri is dried out. Hatoilish mehem, someone who pulls it off from them, Shabbos chayiv. Afal pi shehem ka'kurim in the tumah. Now, in the tumah, the halacha is that if something, in order for something to be makabel tumah, it can't be attached to the ground. Fruits that are attached to the ground, they're not makabel tumah. So these type of fruits that are dried out from the tree is not giving them any nourishment anymore. The halacha is that it's not considered attached, and they are makabel tumah. So Chava brings down the lashon Rambam. If the Rambam says that even though they got dried out, the tree is dried out, it says bi'iveihen, where they're attached to the tree, still is a chiyav, an issa tlisha midaraisa. It says chayiv.
But what's the havamina that you would think that it would be?
Because once it's not getting nourishment from the ground, it's not called tlisha.
I know, but we come with grass. I mean, so why would you think you could?
No, grass is getting nourishment from the ground.
That's true.
It's attached. If you have dried out grass, if you look in the
Right.
And the Mogen Avram Sivkot Dalit.
Right.
Finally, the Basavi Mivation, dried out grass. Kuva Alma Moedim the Ketlushim Domi to Lake Arvazams. By dried out grass, everyone agrees it's like it's a tolish. It's not attached anymore. So this is a very common shaila. This is something you're passing by a tree. It's a dead tree. You want to break off a branch from the tree. So, according to the Rambam, it says it's chayiv. That is the whole shaila, the Mogen Avram, the beginning of the Siman. If the Rambam means even if the whole tree is dried out, or just where the fruit is growing from the tree, that gets dried out. Maybe the Rambam's been made if the whole tree is dried out, then it's not chayiv. But the Master doesn't make a big nafkamina, because anyway, midrabanan everything is also. Midrabanan, even if it's dried out, the tree is dried out, as long as it looks like it's attached to the ground, it's also. So even leaves. So from a tree that's dried out, you want to pull them off on Shabbos, it's also for sure midrabanan.
And that's the basis for a record of a behemah.
No, a behemah, that's a live tree.
A live tree?
Yeah, a skin you take from a live tree.
So,
it's a dead tree. You want to make a gzeira for a gzeira. It's a gzeira then. If you hold a dead tree, it's a deraisa and it's a derabanan, they wouldn't have made a gzeira for rechav agav behemah that's going to pull down from a dead tree.
Yeah.
It's a gzeira and a gzeira. The gzeira of rechav agav behemah is a live tree.
So this is a derabanan or a deraisa?
So the Rambam says that it's a deraisa. Question what the Rambam means. Does it mean that tree is not dried out, only the fruit? If it's attached to the tree, it's dried out. But if the whole tree is dried out, it could be the Rambam is maskim. That's only a derabanan. So here's the question: what it means? Does it mean the whole tree is dried out, or only where the fruit is attached to the tree, that's dried out, and there we hold this a deraisa. So it's like it's how to learn the Rambam. But I might say for us it's on the gay really, because we hold it's always part of our loss anyway. Fine, so that's that Seif. I don't think there's more to learn on that Seif. There's a Mogen Avram over here. We've seen the Mogen Avram. Kosev Rosh, cloud based Siman Dalit. The Mogen Avram we just started. Here Dalit. Kosev Rosh, cloud based Siman Dalit. Gag Shemiluhu Ofar Venota B'Seichai, and you plant it into it. So this is basically going to be our flower pots. It's a roof full of dirt, and you planted on the roof. You planted trees, right? You planted on it. Like for example, now the shul have a chuppah on the second floor. There would be dirt around, and you plant trees inside, right? So even though it's not the ground itself, right? It's not attached to the ground. It's a separate thing on the second level. There's dirt there on the roof. So it's still chayiv. It's called a regular growing. It's called ground. It's called earth, ground, and it's regular. It's a chiyuv midaraisa.
We already had that halacha. No one we said that.
What's it saying? Yeah. V'chein pirish b'yadei Seif Simon Shagdalit v'ri'osim Mishnah Beis Perkei Demasel Tzorch Ian. The Rashi maybe Yerushalmi the Hainu Dafka then Yantuma. Only when they get Tumah it's called attached. However, Chol Mili for everything else Ketlushim Dami it has a din like it's detached. Miu says the Mogen Avraham. It says it's Yom Tov Haviyah Yerushalmi. The only time the Yerushalmi says that it's not an Isser is if you don't want it to grow there. Because have a mechuber gomer. So here there's a very common shaila. You have two ways of things growing not from the ground. You have a lot of times you put dirt out, whether it's on the roof, whether it's in flower pots, and you plant things there, and it's roitze b'hashroshasam. You want them to take root. You want them to grow. So there it's chayiv. There it's an issur d'oraisa. But let's say
weeds.
Let's say you have, which you see sometimes, you have overhangs and then the weeds start growing there, right? So there it's not a chiv d'oraisa. There, the weeds that grow on top of the house or place that's not the ground, there it's not a chiv d'oraisa. There you have the rosh that says. The question is if this is the rabbanon even on that.
No, but hold on. Are we talking about chai or are we talking about yovesh?
No chai.
Chai, you mean you can actually, according to the
we're talking it's growing.
Take out.
Yeah, we're talking it's growing.
Weeds.
We're talking live weeds. We're talking live things, live weeds, not dead. Live weeds that are growing. So if it's roitze b'hashroshasam, you want them to grow, then it's a chiv d'oraisa. But if you don't want them to grow, they're growing not from the ground. If it's growing from the ground, it's also d'oraisa, even though you don't want it to grow. But if it's growing not in the ground, it's growing on a second level on a flower pot, there it could be, it's not, it's a d'oraisa, it could be, it's mutter. It's possible that it's even mutter. That tells them Shabbos Chaim. If someone falls on top of them and you can't get to it, you want to pull it out, the same issur, it's a chiv d'oraisa if you want them to grow there. So I'm not sure where it's so negated, but if you do have something in your way on Shabbos and it's growing not from the ground and it's weeds, you could definitely push it away and you don't have to worry about the issur d'oraisa.
Oh, but that was, I mean, aren't you seeing like you're pruning?
No,
You're pruning you put a rose bush in the attic, or you're growing something in the attic.
No, if you're growing something.
Weeds, no, but you got weeds growing beside it, so you can put out the weeds.
You're making the flower grow better.
Right.
That's a different style. Maybe that's taka also. You're making the flower grow better, so you do that's called zuriya. Yeah.
Right. That's what I mean.
Yeah, it could be worse, 100%. I'm talking about you don't gain anything off it. It's just in your way. And it's not going to help anything else. It could be it's mutter. Okay, Seif Yud Gimel. Also, le'ishtamish b'tzadei ha'ilon. You're not going to use the sides of the tree. Now, Mr. Brewer right away speaks out over here. Don't make a mistake that it means only the sides. Look at the Mr. Brewer Seif Kartan Yud Gimel. The New Testament. B'tzadei ha'ilon. Pirish. Davar ha'tachuv. A kosher be'ilan, mikri stadei ha'ilon. Something that's in the tree, that's stuck in the tree, is called stadei ha'ilon, is called the sides of the tree. But the walls of the tree, the sides of the tree, loy mikri stadei. Ela gufa ilon. That's called the tree itself. So don't think stadei ha'ilon means the sides of the tree. The sides of the tree is already the tree itself. Stadei ha'ilon is when you put something into the side of the tree. That's called stadei ha'ilon.
Or tied around it.
Tied around it. Yeah, we'll get to that in a second. Yeah.
It says leaning on it, like leaning or.
No, that's soon.
No, not leaning. We'll get to that soon.
That's later.
Also, the Shabbos with stadei ha'ilon is the sides of the tree. Stadei ha'ilon says in Mr. Brewer here means something stuck into the side of the tree. So you have a peg stuck into the side of the tree. You're not going to hang up your hat on the peg. You're not going to use it. It's the same din as the tree. But stadim is who davar an nisham but davar atachov be'ilan chem nispar v'divrei mechaber l'kamei. Mishnah Rabbi speaks out. Don't think study ilan means the sides. It means something stuck into the side of the tree.
So what's study?
So let's see. So also the shtamis with study ilan. You're not going to use anything stuck into the side of a tree. It's awesome. However, with study mutir, something that's attached to something that's attached to the tree.
That's okay.
That you're allowed to use.
Meaning if you have a hanger which is on the peg.
Then you could use the hanger. You can't take the hanger off the peg.
Right.
You have a peg in the tree, you have a hanger on the tree, you're allowed to put something on the hanger. But you're not allowed to take the hanger off the peg. The same way if something is in the tree, you're not allowed to take it off the tree. That's called mashtabash b'mechumah l'karka. The same thing here, if there's a hanger on the peg, you're not allowed to take it off. And he explains, therefore, also lismoy chasulam l'tzidei ilan, you cannot take a ladder and lean it on the tree from before Shabbos. On Shabbos or sure not. Even before Shabbos, if you lean a ladder on a tree before Shabbos, you're not allowed to use that ladder. Using that ladder is called using stadei ilan.
But isn't takua though?
It's leaning. It's leaning on the tree, it's called stadei ilan.
So lav dafka it's tachuf. I mean,
lav dafka it's tachuf.
Mishabura said tachuf.
No, tachuf means dafka stuck into it. It means it's leaning on the tree. Tree houses, right? All the tree houses that we have, the kids build,
right.
It's a piece of wood leaning on the tree. You're not allowed, even if you don't touch the tree, you're not allowed to sit on that piece of wood. Because that's called stadei ilan. The chisolik beim, and you go up the ladder, mishtamish b'tstadim. Avlom yesh yesed tekua b'tzidei ilan. But if you have a nail stuck into the side of the tree, mutter lismach sulam olav, which Mr. Bruce is going to speak out soon, me'erev Shabbos, you're not allowed to put it there on Shabbos. The havela yesed stadim, the sulam tzidei stadim. The yesed is a stadim, and the sulam is tzidei stadim. Yesed, same idea. If you put a yesed, a nail into the tree, the color by kalkala, and you put a basket on it, hayesed nikut stadim, while kalkala kit stadim. And the basket is stadei stadim. So let's see the Magen Avraham first. Sifkan tazva b'kalkala, u'muta lital chayfetz me'al kalkala. The lad takes something out of the basket. Aval kalkala atmai aser lital. You now take the basket itself, the kameshtamish, the yesed, shut stadim.
But you can put something inside the basket.
Inside the basket, you can put something, but you now take the basket off the tree.
Right, the basket itself.
If the kalkala is attached to the tree itself, also lital chayfetz me'al kalkala kameshtamish b'tstadim. Then you're being mishtamish b'tstadim. So here, basically, what's happening here is that if you have a nail in the tree, the nail has a din like the tree itself. It's called stadim. It's awesome. If you put something on the nail, you let it use that thing that's on the nail. You're not allowed to take that thing out from the nail, because then it's going to be mishtamish b'tstadim. Right? So the famous question is the hammocks and the swings and the the famous question is the clotheslines hanging there. So what are you allowed to use, what are you not allowed to use? So the question is, what's called stadim, what's called tzidei stadim? So let's say you have a swing with comes with a piece of screw into the tree, right? So that's one second. So that is screwed into the tree.
That's stadim.
That's stadim, and then the swing is hooked into that piece. Now it's stadim.
Right.
So it's not so simple.
Okay.
It's not so simple. What's stadim? What's tzidei stadim? Because if it's all one piece, let's say it's a swing, right? And it's attached. You can say everything is stadim and tzidei stadim. Why? Because the swing has the ropes down the side. The ropes are attached to the chair. So the chair is what? It's stadim. It's already three rooms.
That is
It's not. Because the person speaking out, anything that's one kli together, that whole kli has one din. We don't break up the kli, that the screw is one thing, and then the rope is something else, and then the bench of the swing is something else. We don't look at it that way. It's all one piece. So here we get to the big shadow of exactly when does it become stadim.
I mean, each of them can be used by itself without.
Right. So if you buy a swing and it comes together with things that tie,
nails,
the hooks, and they're attached to the swing, Most of the places are going to hold.
That's
The swing is called stubborn. So the swing will be also to use on Shabbos. The swing is called stubborn. So there's a hammock. If you have a hammock,
So I'll put a cushion on the swing.
Still,
cushion on
It will show before show.
no, but then you're using.
Oh, good point.
You put a cushion on the
That's a
swing.
good one.
But they put a cushion on the swing.
you still,
So then the cushion
It's side.
is still stubborn.
Then I can sit on there.
Then you can sit in there, but you can't touch the. You can hold on to the sides.
you don't need to hold it. You know
Yeah, you can hold on to the sides.
Okay, remember the swing is connected. It's only if the swing is connected to a tree.
Oh, okay, that's true, yeah.
Yeah.
Then you have the hammocks. The hammocks also. Hammocks, a lot of them come with something at the end that you could screw into the tree. You could tie it around. If it's all one piece, if the hammocks, the hammock
that you
is
can
stubborn.
tie. Now, if you can tie them around the tree,
You
and
tie
you
them
tie
around the
them
tree.
not in a tree, but you put the like nails already, like big.
If you put nails in the tree and the hammock comes on and off,
Yeah.
and it's a removable hammock,
Then you.
Then-
Yeah, no problem.
no.
no.
By the swing, it's exactly the same thing.
No.
No, so I said it depends. If it's one piece,
You cannot.
then you can't. So let's say you have something you put into the tree, and the swing comes on and off.
Not only for that.
Right? The swing comes on and off.
Yeah.
Then the swing is not called Siddur Stubborn.
Yeah.
But hammocks, it depends what type. Some of them have it's attached to the hammock, you tie it around the tree, and then it's all one piece. If you have it in like a hook, and then you put something into the tree, and then you hook it onto the hammock onto that piece, then the hammock is Siddur Stubborn. And it's moving.
If you lay down the blankets over the hammock.
Again, it's very
It's a nice percentage. I mean, if you put
Yeah, it's a hard thing because you're going to end up using and touching the rest of it also. It's very hard to cover the whole thing.
Well, it says that according to the thing, you are allowed to touch a tree. I mean, the Ramah talks about it.
Yeah, but you can't be mistamlish. You can't be mistamlish. If you're going to use it, you're going to go out of the hammock. You're relying on the hammock, and that cushion is not covering the whole thing.
Right.
So you're relying on stubbing.
But you can touch it, you just cannot shake it.
Yeah, we get to that soon. We get to that soon.
No.
No, it's worse than muktzah. Muktzah you're allowed to use.
Right.
Here, you're not allowed to use it. It doesn't establish why. Muktzah, you're not allowed to move.
Because back to the original breaking.
Yeah. They made it issur stampshus because they may end up breaking branches. So here it's worse than a regular muktzah. Here's an issur to use it, not just to move it. So therefore you have to be careful with all these hammocks and the swings. You have to make sure that it's already Siddur Stubborn. Now, if the swing falls off the hook, or the hammock falls off the hook,
Can't put it back.
you can't put it back on Shabbos.
Right.
Because now you're being mishtamish with stubborn. It's awesome.
Well, there maybe they have an additional issue of Shemi Yitaka. Maybe you're going to come to fix it.
So yeah, you know, if you make a young Zeris. Unless you can make up young Zeris, then you come Shemi Yitaka. You know, you hook it back on. Usually, it's meant to come on and off, so there's no problem with Shemi Yitaka. But even if it's meant to come on and off, if it falls off on Shabbos, the problem putting it back on Shabbos, that it's becoming mishtamish with stubborn. You have to be careful with that.
Shlomo Zalman talks about the clothesline, which is like.
Yeah.
Right.
So he says, to the wheel, through a nail,
Yeah, because then you'd be mistamish with Siddur Stubborn. You have to always check into it. You have to make sure it's Siddur Stubborn. It's not one piece. It's one piece. It's called Stubborn. If it's two separate pieces, then you have Siddur Stubborn. So now, it says the Ramah, Hagar, but mutar liga be'ilan, you're not touch a tree. U'belvad shloi yinidenu. You have to make sure you don't move it. So here, even if you're not, no, it's a stampshus. Here's another problem. Here's a problem of moving it. Moving the tree by itself. So if you look here in the Magen Avraham, he didn't finish it yet. He says it towards the end. V'im piak hakol tzar. Almost towards the end of the Magen Avraham. The piak hakol tzar. If the opening of the basket is skinny, the ksenoitel chen tzvena hakol meinit ha'ilon. You move the tree. V'chol inyan aser. Anyway, it's aser. You're not allowed to move a tree in Shabbos, even if you're using Siddur Stubborn. So now you have another problem. You have a hammock. You have a swing. But when you're using it, the tree is moving. The tree is moving, you have another problem. It's also because you're not allowed to move a tree on Shabbos. Even if it's Siddur Tzaddim, you're not allowed to move a tree on Shabbos. You have to be careful with that. You have to make sure the tree is...
But hold on a minute. Maybe I'm reading into what the Ramah is saying. He said that you are touching the actual tree. You mean
no, doesn't make a difference. As long as the tree is moving...
He's saying
as long as the tree...
You are causing it meaning.
Right. As long as you're causing the tree to move, it doesn't make a difference if you're touching the tree directly.
Okay.
Even if it's Siddur Tzaddim, you're not allowed to move a tree. So you have another issue over here. You have an issue of moving a tree. So you have to be careful when you're on a swing or a hammock that the tree is strong and it doesn't move. I had a neighbor that had a swing and they came to the whole cheshbon that it's started and I kept there on Shabbos, it was on a branch and the whole branch moves. You missed the boat. You have to be careful that the tree doesn't move. If the tree moves, then it's a problem. Now, says the Magen Avraham, and to lean on a tree, the bari mutter, the tash asr. Strong one is mutter, and the weak one is asr. It's very shy what it means.
Going on the gabra, no?
Things are going on the gabra of the tree. So they're both negated to know. Both of them are true. The bari, if you're leaning on a tree, so if I'm a strong person, I don't really need, the tree's not really holding me up, then it's mutter walk. It's not called the shtamshus be'ilah. But if somebody leans on a tree to tie a shoe, then it's a problem. Even though it's a bari, you cannot stand and tie a shoe without leaning on the tree. So then it's really called the shtamshus be'ilah. If you can tie a shoe and just you're leaning on the tree for a little bit of support, you won't fall without the tree, then maybe it's mutter. But if you would fall without the tree, that's like a tosh kayach, person is weak, he needs a tree to hold him up. There'll be also, it's called the shtamshus be'ilah. And the same thing is the opposite. If the tree is bari and the tree is tosh, that means you're not leaning on a tree, let's say you're not being mishtamesh with it. But if it's a weak tree, it's going to move, you have a different issue, moving a tree. Even though you're not being mishtamesh with the tree, there's an issue to move a tree on Shabbos.
So, if you're bari and you want to sit down and just lean back on the tree, that could be...
That's okay.
Yeah, if you're bari, you sit down on a bench, not on the tree stump.
On the floor, yeah.
On the floor, you're leaning back on the tree, that's mutter. Yeah, if you're not going to fall back, yeah, it's mutter.
Why didn't we say the tree stump is a problem?
You're being mishtamesh be'ilah.
Is it Yavesh already?
It depends. If the tree stump is low, if it's talking, it's mutter.
It's dead.
Yeah. No, tree stump is dead.
Usually, I mean, to cut off let the tree.
Okay, but in Yavesh also could be sasa. We had in the beginning of the Siman that even a dry tree is also. Right?
Not ben lachlan
Yavesh.
Right.
Yeah, so if you do see sometimes, you see sometimes in parks especially,
right.
You have...
they cut down the trees and
then there's a bench there, and the back of the bench, or the side of the bench is a tree. So then that's what I mean. But if the bench is in the tree, then it's studded, that's also to use the bench. If the bench is being held up directly by the tree, then it's called studded, that's also to sit on the bench. Even though the man has a fancy bench, doesn't make a difference. If there's peg, there's screws in the tree, and the screws are holding up the bench, then it could be mutter. It's called siddur tzaddim. But if the bench is lying directly on the tree, then it's tzaddim and it's also to use it.
So the kids can't play hide and seek anymore.
Teach them Torah on Shabbos instead of a game. Torah. If you look at the Mishnah Berurah at the end of the Siman, he goes through these two things of a tosh kayach, right by the nun bays of the Sharet Tzien. By the nun bays of the Sharet Tzien, it says, "L'shoan be'ilan, to lean on a tree. Ima adam bari, if the person is healthy and strong, mutter, the tosh kayach asr. V'hatam, the reason is the adam bari einay semech alav ela ma'at, v'lay mikri mishtamish b'mechubim. He's only leaning on it a little bit, and it's not called being mishtamish b'mechubim. Our tosh kayach tzarech lismech b'chol koychay alav or mikri mishtamish b'mechubim v'asr.
then it's also. So here, even if a person who's a bari, it depends what he's doing it for. We said before, if he has a tie shoe and he can't stand on one foot, it's been like a touch koyach, and he's using the tree to fully support him. So the tree is fully supporting him, then it's awesome. Then it says, when you're not moving the tree, when you move the tree, that itself is called using a tree. And it will be awesome. Alright, so the two things we have to remember from here, that only tzidei tztadim is mutter, and B is that even if it's tzidei tztadim, if you're moving the tree, it's awesome. Moving the tree by itself is awesome. Let's finish up with the Ramah. Bar, but a pit. Almost, if it's deep, I fill even 100 amas deep. Mutter leireg v'lalois, let it go down and go up. And metapis v'yoyid, and metapis v'oily, climb down and climb up. But not chayshish that you'll end up taking out some earth with you when you go up and down the bar. So by a pit, no gzeres.
Well, these have in the old days, the water pits that used to go down and move down to get water.
Yeah. So it's a pit is mutter. Pit is mutter, but not worried they're going to take out some karka while you go up and down the pit. There's no gzeira on that. On a tree, it made a gzeira on the after the tree. Okay, let's start Siman Shin Lamed Zayin. Okay, Shin Lamed Zayin basically, when we will get to that more next week, but Shin Lamed Zayin is basically about sweeping in the house on Shabbos. Now maybe next week we'll go more into the Isser of, Chayrish and Boina, in the house that's on the Geya today, but it's more Negeya if you have in the backyard. People use
raking. You want to rake.
Not just raking. You're sitting on a porch, or you have chairs, and you're stuffing chairs and there's making furrows in the ground while you're doing it. We'll get into that next week. There's a small Akdama here of the Mishnah Berurah. It's Kedai to see it. And then there's a long Be'er Halacha here. It's also Kedai to see, which is all about sweeping houses on Shabbos. Now I said today, we'll see it's mutter. But it's good to know the halacha because when it comes to your backyard, you may run into issues about sweeping.
And the snow? The snow part of this discussion as well?
No, snow is mutter.
Cleaning your walkway in front of the house.
Cleaning your walkway in front of the snow is 100% mutter.
Well, it's
no issue.
For other reasons, also.
Why?
Well, it's, it's slip and fall or whatever.
Yeah, besides that.
Right.
It's a mistake you make. I'm not sure where it comes from. It says snow is muktzah. Snow is not muktzah. And you're allowed to shovel the snow on Shabbos.
It seems like work, that's why.
Yeah, over to the soil, but
maybe it's a pleasure.
We have there's a lot of things that's work on Shabbos, right?
And the shovel itself is not mutter.
Shovel is not mutter because it's using with that double mutter to move snow. Moving snow. Moving snow is mutter. I just want to see Seif Aleph here, which is a little aside thing, and then next week we'll leave the whole Chayrish and Boina for next week. But let's see.
What if you're shoveling snow and you're shoveling it onto your lawn? Or near the trees?
What's the issue? Because they're watering it? No, you don't have the issue because there's so much water there already.
Yeah, you're not doing it.
Yeah, it's not a problem. They can't move the tree, right?
Have enough there. Make it one more.
Shoveling snow is not a problem on Shabbos.
You can't lean the shovel against the tree.
Correct.
Right.
And not just that, if you lean the shovel against the tree, now I'll take it off.
Right.
Yes, it's a bigger problem. It's a bigger problem than shoveling. Correct. Or the bushes, anything like that.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see Seif Aleph here. Seif Aleph is a separate halacha. You're allowed to do something if you're not mechaver to do it. It's mutter. But it can't be a psikresha. Now, what does this mean over here? Davar she'ein l'schaven, it could be spoken out before. It's good I speak it out again. It's a very important halacha. But davar she'ein l'schaven is I'm doing a halacha, A, and B is happening. For example, hilchach. Geirer Adam, you could schlep Mita, kisa, a safsel, a bed, a chair, and a bench. Bein gedolim, bein ketanim. Say big ones, say small ones. V'vash lo yischaven lasas charitz. You can't have a mind to make a furrow in the ground, because then, if you're doing it for that, then it's also because of chayrish. And therefore also...
But that will be a secret.
No, but it's not secretion. It's not secretion. The Magen Avraham speaks out over here. Aber gedoyle ma'oid also ligroy to have a secretion. The ois charitz, for sure you're going to make a charitz. But also...
So Mechaber says big
was not very big, not gedoyle ma'oid. The Magen Avraham says the gedoyle ma'oid is very big, for sure you're going to make a furrow in the ground, then it's also.
Why?
So we'll get to this next week. Is that in the times of Chazal, when houses were most of them made out of dirt, some of them were tiled. So in a place where most of the houses are tiled, there's no gzeira up to you do in a house that's not tiled. But in a place where the houses are not tiled, they're not made out of tiles, then even if your house has tiles, we absolutely gzeira.
So today it's not Nogea, but
so today this thing won't be Nogea. We'll see it next week. That's why the sweeping, even though the Moshe is also the sweeping house on Shabbos, the Pasha is talking about a case where there's houses that don't have tiles. Today you will not find a house anywhere that doesn't have tiles. Every house is a smooth floor. There's no chash of in the backyard. We'll get to. But in the house itself, there's no chash of gzeira. You may end up doing it in a place without tiles. So,
what about the chash on the room itself that something may break?
Yeah, so we'll get to that next week. That's
why you have a smooth floor, because that's less. We'll get
to that next week. We'll get to those tiles next week. So here, if it's gedolim ma'oid, it's awesome. But if it's not gedolim ma'oid and you're not mechaven, it's mutter. Why? Because the einem mechaven is mutter. Unless it's a psik reisha, then it becomes awesome. Now, why is the einem mechaven mutter? What's the pshat? What's happening over here? You're schlepping a bench. You're not sure, will I make a furrow or will I not make a furrow? If you do, it's an issa deraisa. Now, if you ever have a shaila, if you're going to do an issa deraisa or not, you stay away from it. Suffer deraisa l'chumrah. Right? You don't say, I'm not sure if it's issa deraisa or not, therefore I'll do it, and what's your worst thing? So why over here all of a sudden, to suffer deraisa, we paskin, davar she'enim eschavin is mutter. Why is it mutter?
Because by Shabbos you have Nimir Malachos Shabbos, you have Golei Michalei. So all of those things together.
This subject is different. This is a subject that it's going to happen or not.
Right. So something's going to happen or not. I have a door. Right. An open door. Something the lights going to go on or not. That's a situation. Okay. It gets into that child. But you have a suffix. I'll give you another example. Okay, you have something in front of you. You're not sure if it's kosher or not kosher, chelev or shuman. Oh, it's only a suffix. Okay, I can eat it. You can eat it. It's only a suffix. I'm not sure what it is. You're going to stay far away from it. Suffix derives to the chumrah. You have to stay around. This is bittul, but without bittul. Without bittul. So here I have a suffix. I'm schlepping a bench. I have a suffix if I'm going to end up making a charitz or not. You're allowed to do it. It's mutter to do it. You don't have to worry about it. Even though a lot of times you make a charitz. Roiv pa'amim, I'm going to say. Even if most of the times you make a charitz, it's still mutter. A psik reisha is only when it's for sure going to happen. So let's say you hold them at 85% that it's going to happen. Are you allowed to do it on Shabbos?
Well, the question is whether
it's mutter.
Whether it's for the psik reisha.
That's not psik reisha. 85% not psik reisha. It's karav levadai. We'll get to that. Maybe it could be psik reisha. Karav levadai means it has to be more than 85%.
No, but the question is whether the charetz is really chuppah. I mean, it's
chuppah.
You can't plant anything in
no, charetz is chuppah. Charetz is issa deraisa. I'm talking about in the field. Talking about it's issa deraisa.
Well, I hope it's not. You're not doing it to make a farm.
You're not doing it to make a farm. That's why it's einem eschavin. That's why it's mutter.
Right.
If you're doing it to make a farm, then it'll be awesome.
Right.
So here I'm not einem eschavin, and therefore it's mutter. Why is it mutter? Suffer deraisa. Suffer deraisa. The answer to that is that einem eschavin means I'm doing action A. I'm schlepping a bench. What's happening? Action B is coming out of it, and I end up making a charetz. I'm not mechaven to make a charetz. I don't want to make the charetz. I don't need the charetz. I'm not mechaven to make a charetz. The reason why it's mutter is not because maybe it won't happen. There's an 80% chance it will happen. Why is it mutter? Because the einim mechaven is not like I did it. It's not my myself. I did not do that. If I'm doing action A and action B is happening, einim mechaven says action B is not me. I didn't do it like it happened by itself. It's not called my action. That's why einim mechaven is mutter. Now we once gave a share a while ago. I think it was upstairs. By psik reisha.
Right.
So why is it psik reisha also?
Right.
Why is it psik reisha also? So here is a big machlekes, and I find them why a psik reisha becomes also.
Psik is always 100%.
100% it's going to happen. So why is it psik reisha also? Because 100% it's going to happen. So what? I still don't want it to happen. So why is it psik reisha also?
Right.
So there's two mahalach, and the most part of the mahalach is that then I don't look at it as A and B. I don't look at A is happening and then B is happening. It's coming out from it. It's one big A. It's one big A. One big thing is happening. That's why psik reisha could be also. Another reason we said then is that maybe it's not A, it's still called A and B, but since it's a sure going to happen, that it's as if you're mechaven to do it. We said a lot of nafkaminis. What nafkaminis between them?
I think I see that was the shir that which the Rav gave on this on the Shabbat smicha when we did this with the smicha. I think that was the shir that the Rav gave.
No, that was something else. No,
I thought it was.
No, psik reisha I gave. I think that one of the one of the shvus was upstairs. Yeah, before shvus. Yeah. So that's basically that's why it's good to know the yesod, because otherwise you may have to come to think that something the Raisa you could do. It's not true. There's no heter of something by the Raisa. If it's something, it's also to do it. The heter of einim mechaven is that when you're doing something A and B happens from the A, but it's not 100% it's going to happen, it's not called that I did it.
So practically speaking, if I'm schlepping something on Shabbos, should I try to not make it happen? In other words, I should try to be careful. I shouldn't just schlep like.
Interesting question. Yeah. Very interesting question. Is there a reason why? Let's say I know 80% it's going to happen. So two things. First of all, maybe I shouldn't do it because I may add them in the charetz. I want to be from, and I don't want to do it.
Bring a second person.
Or should I go ahead and get somebody else to help me pick it up? Torah says no, you don't have to. It's mutter. The schaven is mutter. It's not considered your action. It's 100% mutter. If you start stepping, and this is the place in this speak out. If you start stepping, it's automatic, like in charetz, for sure. And sometimes you don't know. Sometimes you can slap something, you're not for sure. You don't know for sure if it's a situation or not. So the person can say, if you're stepping and you see there's no way of doing it without making charetz, then it becomes a situation, and you get somebody to help you. But I'm talking in a case where, even after you stop it, now we made a charetz, it's a 20% chance. Don't make a charetz, you're still not in the situation realm, then you don't have to get somebody to help you.
No, but you're starting to schlep, you already see that something's happened, you stop schlepping.
That's okay, because then you know for sure it's correct.
100%.
So then the person they have to stop. If you know for sure, we spoke about it also. Let's say before I start schlepping, I'm not sure if it's a psik reisha, it's going to make a charetz or not. If I know for sure that it's not a psik reisha, it's mutter. Let's say I don't know for sure it's not a psik reisha. I'm assuming I don't know if it's going to make it. So that's the whole machlokes have the taz, the psik reisha, that's going to happen, but you don't know if it's going to happen or not. It could be it's mutter. But then it's kedai to be careful.
Right. The minute you see the charetz,
right. Then it's kedai to be careful. If you see when you're stepping and taking the charetz, then it's kedai to stop because then it becomes a situation. But we're talking about something that's einim mechaven.
And what happens if the ground is hard in places and soft in places?
No, each place is different. And that place where it's soft, it's a situation. You don't look at the collective meister that the whole time. Sometimes it won't make a charetz. No, because that's the place where it's soft. It's a great.
But then the thing would say, drag it and see if it's making a charetz. If it's making a charetz, stop.
Yeah.
That's not saying that you can just drag it because maybe it'll make a charetz.
No, we're talking about that you know that what you do. You know your action now. Sometimes makes a charetz, sometimes not.
But as soon as it stops making a charetz, you can't do it anymore.
No, because who's to say sure? Maybe I'll stop a little longer and then I'll make a charetz.
Well, that's what I'm asking. That's not
yeah, but it depends. But it has to be the same exact type of ground. It has to be that it's really hard to measure it. It's really hard to measure if it's a psik reisha or not. You have to know the mitzvahs, how heavy it is. You have to know the mitzvahs, how soft the ground is. So therefore, if you're not sure if it's going to be a situation or not, then it's good to get someone else to help you. But we're talking about in a case where you know for sure it's not a situation. An example, you're pulling I don't touch asa b'chlal, but you pull out paper towels, right, from the thing. And a lot of times it rips, sometimes it doesn't rip, right? Now you know for sure it's not a situation it's going to rip. Let's say it will be asa. I'm not even sure it's asa. But let's say it will be asa, right? So when you pull it out, even though it ripped this time, you know for sure that the next one possibly won't rip. It's very easy to pull out. Some rip, some don't rip. That's called a nemeschava. It's not a situation. It's a good example. But it's hard to give an example of stepping a bench because then you have to know exactly what season. But there's a lot of things that you could do that sometimes it will, sometimes it won't. So that's called the nemeschava and it's mutter. A situation is also.
But also, like, is just one thing that can happen. Like, there's other things. Like, if you're slipping a bench, maybe it's on grass, then maybe you're worried about police.
Right.
Maybe you're worried about killing ants or something.
So very good. So that's a good example, right? You are pulling out grass. Now, you know when you pull this thing, you're not always going to pull out grass. As a pulling it, maybe some grass will come out eventually. But you know, so you pull it once and pull out clean grass. That means the second time you pull it, also it's going to pull out grass? No, you know for sure it's not the way. You've pulled back the chair before, and sometimes it pulls out grass, sometimes not. That's called the nemeschava. That's called the nemeschava, because it's not 100% that it's going to pull out grass. Therefore, it's not called without pulling out grass. Once it's a situation, you cannot pull it without pulling out grass, then it's really a situation that's awesome. Fine. Therefore, the Mechaber says also, Mutter v'Rabbi Tzabayis, Kimish Eine Meschava Lahashvois Gumois Eloshloyala Ova. Same thing is, they used to pour water on the ground to keep the sand, the dirt, down on the ground, pat it down. Also, if it's Eine Meschavin, it's Mutter. If it's a situation, it's also. Same idea. So if you don't have a mind to make, to the Hashvois Gumois means to smoothen it out, smoothing out the holes in the ground, then it's mutter. If you have in mind hashvois gumois, then it'll be also. We'll see next week. Also, like this is also a good example. You sit in your backyard on a chair. It has four legs, and the legs go into the ground and they can make holes in the ground. That's not always that's going to sink into the ground. Sometimes yes, sometimes not. Right? So that's called a nemeschava. That's mutter. But if you know for sure that this chair, every time you sit in it, it makes holes in the ground, and we're assuming the holes in the ground is aser, then it's called a p'sigreisha, it's aser. We'll see, next we'll have a lot more examples of ein meschava and p'sigreishas. It's good to go through the halacha on this because there's not much more than Avram's here. It's very little. But there's a long halacha here, and the Amish Brew here, there's only here for backyards and for sweeping houses. And next week I'd like to finish Siman Shalom Zayin. Okay.